Oh, dude, there's all sorts of great stuff.
Down the Family Guy pipeline.
Oh, is there? Well, let's see what kind of quality programming we have here.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through.
Now, the topic for today's video is something that I have wanted to talk about for a wee while now because it is just so fascinating to me. Now, I got the idea for this video because I have been absolutely bombarded with Family Guy content on my For You page for months now. It won't stop. It never stops. It started out with those gameplay videos with the Family Guy content like above the gameplay, but now it's just so many different types of Family Guy videos. For example, it's like sounds from the show that have gone viral and even like Family Guy fan cams. Like, it's absolutely preposterous. Like, what is going on here? Now, if this was just some dumb TikTok trend, I probably wouldn't have even spoken about it. I would have just giggled about it at home in private. However, Family Guy hasn't just taken over TikTok. No. It has also had this like huge grip on YouTube for years now as well. And it's just so interesting to me that on every single platform, Family Guy always finds a way to separate itself from like different adult animations and stuff to become such a cultural phenomenon. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over what I believe the Family Guy pipeline is and why we, as a society, keep falling down it. Family Guy is an adult animated series that was created by and stars the absolute icon, the absolute god that is Seth MacFarlane, who some of you probably know best for being the mouse in Sing. However, not Sing 2 because for some reason Mike Mouse was just not allowed to be in that movie. He was also the creator of the show American Dad, which is also a very god tier show. Now, on the 31st of January 1999, Fox blessed us all as a society as the first episode of Family Guy was released to the public. However, after 3 seasons of the show, it was cancelled in 2001 and this broke everyone's hearts. It crushed spirits and hope all around the world. It brought pain and sadness to us all. However, a plot twist occurs as in 2002, after releasing the DVDs of the 3 seasons of the show, Fox realised that letting Family Guy go was a very small-brained decision to make and the show returned for its 4th season in 2003. But guys, there's another plot twist here, as in 2004, Fox cancelled the show yet again because they just don't learn from the mistakes because they are dumbasses. Now, it was cancelled again due to poor ratings, but the public just would not stand for this absolutely ridiculous behaviour from Fox, and in 2005 the show was brought back again due to popular demand and due to DVD sales as well. The show has been going strong ever since and is currently airing its 21st season on Disney+. Now that we know a little bit about Family Guy and about the history of Family Guy and specifically the show's relationship with the public, I think it's time that we discuss a little bit about what the Family Guy pipeline really is. Now, the Family Guy pipeline could be described as like the rabbit hole of Family Guy content that you find yourself falling down on different platforms such as YouTube and TikTok. Now, most shows and fandoms have their own pipelines and are pretty preposterous in their own way. However, Family Guy is just such a different phenomenon altogether. Now, what makes Family Guy so different to other adult animated shows and to other fandoms and stuff like that is the fact that Family Guy just has this way of becoming its like own entity and clawing its way back into relevancy again. Even with the history of the show that we just discussed earlier in the video, it showed that the show has this absolutely like a magical ability to pull people back in, to bring the show back into the limelight again and again. Like, it managed to come back after being cancelled twice, which was done because of the reaction of the public when this decision was made. Like, Family Guy just has this weird effect on us as a society, and it's just so interesting to me. Like, why this show? Why does this show always find a way to come back into the limelight time after time after time? It's just so bizarre. Like, what the hell is going on? Now, because of like this kind of pull that the show has with people within our society, this is how I believe that the Family Guy pipeline began to form. You know, when it was cancelled twice and it was brought back both times because of the public's reaction, this is when the rabbit hole of Family Guy content began to emerge from the darkness, if you will, and began to grab people in from our society, dragging them down into this pipeline. And you know, there are many reasons and incidents that would cause someone to fall into the Family Guy pipeline, and I believe that this is genuinely the first stage. Like, you know, the first kind of people that fell into this pipeline were probably the people that would buy the DVDs of the first like 3 seasons and like brought the show back from being cancelled. However, this is just stage 1 and there are many more stages that came after this, such as... Now, Family Guy as a meme isn't like a new concept, as it spawned so many iconic moments since being created in 1999, which is why it was resurrected twice from the dead.
9/11.
However, the way in which Family Guy has been viewed by society over its run has completely shifted in the eyes of the public, and in turn the way in which Family Guy is identified as a meme has also shifted. Now, Family Guy was once a show that spawned iconic moments, iconic meme-worthy moments such as the Surfing Bird episode and the giant chicken fights. However, those were jokes from the show and people were laughing with the show, not at the show. Now, I bring this up because the way that Family Guy is seen by society as a concept and like as a show and stuff has completely changed, and this is due to the fact that there have been less and less Family Guy iconic moments throughout the years. Now, it's been absolutely argued to death that Family Guy and the quality of Family Guy has seen a real decline over the years, especially with the later seasons. Now, I bring this up because I think that the decline of the show and establishing that the show isn't seen the same way as it used to be and it isn't really seen as being good anymore. I mean, I think it's pretty good, you know, I get a bunch of giggles from it, but you know, some people just don't have any taste. They are just hools. They don't know what good media is. They just don't understand how god-worthy Family Guy really is.
Family Guy.
Is at his best now. I know he's not what he used to be.
However, this kind of adds to people taking the piss out of it and it becoming sort of like an ironic meme. And because of this shift in people's view of the show, it kind of made Family Guy this like show that people would reference to take the piss out of. Rather than laughing with the show, people began to laugh at the show. So this kind of shift in the way that people within our society kind of see Family Guy made it so that people wouldn't bring up moments from the show that they would think are funny. It would be them bringing up the show as a concept to laugh about it. Like, for example, they believe that the idea of Family Guy and the idea of someone's favourite show being Family Guy, or like someone knowing what Family Guy is like a funny concept now, whereas before it wasn't, because Family Guy was such a funny show. So people began to laugh at the show rather than with the show, if that makes any sense. I don't know if any of that made any sense, right? I hope it did, because like, my god, like I literally just waffled for so long. Now, this kind of concept and the kind of idea that the public's perception of Family Guy has shifted is what I believe has kind of made it into this weird like laughing stock, which has made the Family Guy pipeline only deeper. Now, usually if this happens to a show where people begin to kind of lose interest in it and stuff like that, the show just kind of, the pipeline kind of just fizzles away and nobody really falls down it anymore, like it's just kind of gone. However, Family Guy's pipeline from this happening to it only got deeper rather than disappearing altogether, which is absolutely insane. It's such an interesting concept. People are falling down this pipeline as we speak. People fall down this pipeline every single day, and it's so bizarre to me because why? If Family Guy is such a bad show and if nobody likes it anymore and if everybody just takes the piss out of it, then why is the Family Guy pipeline so big? Now, this got me thinking, and I think there's a factor here that's a lot larger than just having people giggling at how bad the show is and how bad the quality has gotten over the years. This factor, in my opinion, was the kind of turning point in what has caused this pipeline to not only increase but to expand like no other pipeline has ever expanded before. And that, my good sir, is Family Guy funny moment videos. Now, YouTube is the home to hundreds of different types of content, from comedy videos to reviews to video essays. However, there are also videos that aren't really created by a specific creator and are just kind of other people's creations that have been put together to create this masterpiece of a video, and that, my good sir, is compilation videos. Now, compilation videos have been a staple on YouTube for years at this point. You can find compilation videos for pretty much anything from big funny TikTok funny moment videos to different shows, and Family Guy is absolutely no exception to this. Now, due to how hilarious and iconic Family Guy is as a concept and as a show, it has been absolutely milked to death by these compilation channels. There are compilation channels, compilation communities that genuinely just post Family Guy funny moment videos to the point where they even have their own controversies. Now, I'm not going to talk about the controversies within this video because it doesn't really have anything to do with what I'm talking about, but I will link this video here by this creator here because I watched it and it was very interesting to see how dark the Family Guy compilation channels can actually be and like the kind of theories behind them and stuff like that. Like, it's very, very interesting but very dark, so I'll link that video here. It's very interesting if you want to watch it. However, it's just so interesting to know that the Family Guy compilation channels even have like their own drama and like their own kind of conspiracy theories behind them. Like, they're massive. It's such a huge industry on YouTube, it's crazy. And I don't think I've ever seen a show that has compilation channels dedicated to it the way that Family Guy does. It's just so bizarre to me. Now, due to the increased amount of these channels and videos that have been created, it brought Family Guy kind of back into the limelight again, and Family Guy funny moments are like a really, really big industry on YouTube. Like the amount of Family Guy funny moment videos, like if you go and watch one, like the views are crazy. They get an insane amount of views, and reaction channels on YouTube kind of, you know, seen that they had a wee bit of a goldmine going on here, and so they started reacting to them, and people reacting to Family Guy funny moments get them lots of views as well. So it's like Family Guy funny moments has become this kind of concept within itself, which again is just this other aspect of the pipeline. So you've got the Family Guy funny moments videos themselves, but then you've also got the fact that people react to them, and this creates an even bigger pipeline. And the actual concept of people reacting to the Family Guy funny moment videos has become a meme within itself, adding again to the pipeline. It's just crazy. It's like there's just Family Guy, what the hell is going on? It's just so crazy. Now, another concept within the Family Guy pipeline on YouTube is this idea of people making video essays on Family Guy. Like it's a whole kind of phenomenon within itself. Like the amount of Family Guy video essays there are. Even this one, this is a Family Guy video essay as well. There are so many of them. Like it's absolutely insane, like the amount of people that talk about this show. And you know what, I watch every single one of them. I eat them all up. They're all absolutely amazing. Like I love them all so much, right? But it's like this kind of other subsection of the Family Guy pipeline that like on YouTube alone there's just so many different types of Family Guy content, and it's so weird because for a show that like has been dragged by everybody, and for a show that is kind of, you know, regarded as like being really, really bad now, it's like, why is this pipeline just still so massive? Like why are people still talking about this show? How does Family Guy always find a way to claw itself back into relevancy? And it's due to like, you know, it becoming a trend all the time, and it's just so fascinating to me. Now, as I said before, this could be said about any show in every fandom or community, as everybody on the internet and all fandoms and stuff like that kind of have their own commentary channels that make videos about them and stuff like that, and kind of upload like funny moment videos and stuff like that. However, the Family Guy side of YouTube that upload these videos, as I've kind of explained throughout this section of the video, like it's just so massive compared to other shows. Like there is no other community of compilation channels like the Family Guy compilation channels. Now, the reason that this kind of concept and these types of videos make people fall into the Family Guy pipeline is because I don't know if anybody else has noticed this. Like I'm guessing people have, because I'm not that special, right? But if you click on one of these videos, your whole recommended page will be absolutely bombarded with Family Guy content. Like you will be seeing videos of people making video essays on Family Guy, you'll see people reacting to Family Guy, you'll see Family Guy just funny moments. Like your whole recommended will be covered and bombarded with Family Guy content, making you fall down the Family Guy pipeline. Like YouTube, TikTok is the home to a variety of different content, and different fandoms have their own sides of the platform to create whatever they want, as terrible as it is. You know, they kind of create their own pipelines, if you will. Now, most of these fandoms' pipelines are kind of contained and usually only present themselves to those who really need to be in them and to those who want to be in the pipelines. The content of the pipelines isn't usually spread to those who don't really need to be in the pipeline. However, Family Guy and the Family Guy side of TikTok has gone further than anyone could have ever imagined. I have never in my life been thrown down a pipeline like I have with this goddamn show. I watched one of those videos with the Family Guy clip above the gameplay, and now it never stops. Now, I think it would be a pretty fun time, you know, if we went on a little trip and looked over the different aspects of the Family Guy pipeline on TikTok. Or in other words, I'm gonna basically do a meme review and go over every different Family Guy TikTok trend because I am in serious pain. I would like to start by discussing this absolutely iconic trend that basically is the cause for this whole video. Now, these accounts who make videos with a clip playing at the top and gameplay playing at the bottom isn't unique to the Family Guy pipeline. This video style has been used for different shows such as like The Simpsons and like Rick and Morty and stuff, and it's also used for Darman videos, weirdly enough. There is also kind of like an alternative to this trend where instead of using gameplay, they also use kind of like slime videos, or they'll use like people like making cakes and stuff like that as well. So it's not a unique concept to the Family Guy pipeline. However, the way in which the Family Guy versions of these videos take over your entire For You page is like nothing I've ever seen before in my entire life. Now, these videos will usually use gameplay from mobile games and will also have clips from the show playing above the gameplay. Now, what's actually interesting about this type of Family Guy video and this kind of type of Family Guy content on TikTok, that it's created its own like little community of people within the Family Guy pipeline, and it's actually kind of wholesome. Like it's so funny, like what? So what I mean by this, right, is that they have like wee sayings and kind of like things that they always comment and kind of things that they always kind of look for when they go to one of these videos. So for example, most of you probably know, and I think this is the most well-known kind of Family Guy gameplay video comment that you'll probably see, and that is the fact that they will usually write poor insert name Atron. Now this is a kind of Family Guy funny moment joke that comes from the season 12 episode A Fistful of Meg, in which it is revealed to us, the audience, that Meg's full government name is Megatron Griffin. Now this has caused people in the comments, whenever anyone in the Family Guy clip being played above the gameplay is being hard done by, or like being like kind of put through a hard time, they'll write like poor insert name here Atron in reference to them being given a hard time. Now for example, if Quagmire was being given a hard time in a clip, they'll write poor Quagatron, and if Joe was being given a hard time, they'll write like poor Joatron, and of course if Meg is being given a hard time, which she usually is, they'll write poor Megatron. And just think of that, like for every single character in the show, you will see a comment for every single character. However, there are also other inside jokes within this side of the pipeline, like people calling the show like Family House or Family Man and saying stuff like African Love Family House. And this actually kind of calls back to the point I made earlier in the video, if people kind of like taking the piss out of the concept of liking Family Guy, because these comments are obviously people taking the piss, right? Like they're not actually like declaring how much they love Family Guy, it's like they're taking the piss. It's just quite interesting how history like keeps repeating itself and stuff throughout the pipeline. Now another inside joke within this side of the pipeline is declaring that certain characters have taken an L, and the people within the pipeline usually kind of agree on like what certain characters take. And for example, Lois is a character that is usually seen to be taking L's in the opinions of the people within this community, so they would usually comment stuff like a common Lois L, and whenever she's in a clip, and oh my god, I can't believe I even just said that sentence out loud without laughing, like Jesus Christ. I love this community. Now this is kind of taking the piss out of the whole Andrew Tate meme, but Family Guy just makes it like so much funnier than it was before. Like so iconic, this show is so iconic. Now they also like to come up with like nicknames for certain characters within the show, so we talked about like the kind of Megatron phenomenon, but my personal favourites are the ones that they come up with for Quagmire. Now the people within this community will also use these nicknames for Quagmire specifically whenever he's in a clip, and they will use it with the iconic phrase "who else but Quagmire," but they'll kind of change it out to put one of the selected nicknames in. It's very iconic stuff. However, as you could have probably guessed, it doesn't stop there. Now this part of the pipeline comes from the impressions side of YouTube. There are so many talented voice actors on YouTube who do impressions of cartoon characters and stuff like that. A very common way that these people like to show off their impressions and stuff is through having the characters that they're impersonating sing songs. Now one of the creators who partook in this kind of content is this YouTuber here. Now this creator would upload a video of him singing different songs using like Family Guy impressions and also using impressions from like other shows and stuff like that as well. However, on the 21st of January 2020, this absolute icon blessed us all as a society, as we were blessed with this video here. The video sees this absolute icon impersonating characters such as Peter, Stewie and Quagmire while singing the Maroon 5 song Memories, and it is the most iconic video I have ever witnessed with my own two eyes in my entire life. Now as you can imagine, with the Family Guy pipeline expanding at an alarming speed on TikTok, the video was brought back by TikTok and went incredibly viral. Now the fact that this video was such a phenomenon brought the video and also the creator so much attention that he returned from his 2-year break from YouTube and has been posting Family Guy covers again, so go check him out. He's an absolute icon. His videos are like top tier, god worthy. What an absolute king. Now this part of the Family Guy pipeline was brought to us all by the editing app CapCut. Now CapCut is an editing app that is mostly used by stans to edit their fan edits and their fan cams and stuff. However, the app introduced a template that was intended for people to basically show off their moments from like the past 4 years, like from 2019 to 2022. It was a very wholesome idea until it fell down the Family Guy pipeline. Now the template has blown up completely and it isn't solely used for Family Guy content. Like there's many different sides of the internet that use it for different kind of videos and stuff like that. However, a huge chunk of them are Family Guy related, and I think that Family Guy made this trend blow up, to be honest. Like the fact that this fell down the Family Guy pipeline like made it blow up. Now a lot of clips from Family Guy are often used in this trend. So for example, they often use this clip here of Quagmire saying "I'm Glenn Quagmire."
I'm Glenn Quagmire.
They also use this clip here of Joe being like dragged away by demons. And there's also a lot of like other really iconic ones that are just kind of used throughout, but those are like the two that I see the most, and like they're also like my personal favourites. So but it's just so funny to me that the Family Guy pipeline just helps to blow people up and like helps to blow like trends up. Now, I wanted to touch upon some trends that actually come from dialogue, like within the show itself, rather than having the idea of Family Guy be funny. Like, the show itself has actually spawned a lot of trending sounds and trending audios, like on TikTok. Now, I'm sure like there are so many that I'm obviously not going to be able to touch upon in today's video, but I think these two that I'm about to talk about are probably like the most well known, and I think these two audios specifically cause so many people to fall down the Family Guy pipeline. Now, the first one of these audios that I do want to touch upon comes from one of the earlier seasons of Family Guy, and it's from the season 7 episode Family Gay, in which Peter buys a horse, and this absolutely iconic scene is given to us, the audience.
Peter, the horse is here.
Oh yeah.
Now, this sound went completely viral on TikTok, and it's so funny to see that this sound like caused so many people to fall down the Family Guy pipeline. It's so funny to actually see that a sound from the show being used rather than people just laughing at the show as a concept for once, but you know, anyway. Now, the second audio that I wanted to speak about that had went completely viral on TikTok actually came from the most recent season of the show, and it's so cool to see that like a new episode of Family Guy has caused such a cultural impact on us as a society. Now, on the 16th of October 2022, we were blessed with the 4th episode of the 21st season of this godsend of a show. This is an absolutely iconic episode, and a very iconic scene is given to us because of it. Now, this sound went absolutely viral on TikTok, with people who hadn't watched Family Guy in years finding it, and this led to more people falling down the Family Guy pipeline, causing it to become so much greater than it already was, and more than it probably should be, to be honest. And now everyone sees at least one Family Guy video a day on their For You page. Thank you so much, Family Guy. I think what we should take away from this video is that if you're like me and you have fallen into the Family Guy pipeline, then you should consider yourself lucky. You have been absolutely blessed with being on one of the funniest sides of TikTok that I have ever seen in my entire life. I haven't seen since probably the whole Ben Telek stuff a funnier side of TikTok where a whole community has just blossomed. It's beautiful, it's breathtaking. I think it's so wholesome that the pipeline has caused so many people to watch Family Guy again, like especially with the whole like Peter No meme and stuff like that. People have began to watch the newest season, which has actually been really good. Like, I actually like have laughed a lot like at the newest season, like laughed out loud for like the first time while watching newer seasons of Family Guy in like a really long time. I think the Family Guy is such an interesting and such a strange phenomenon because it always finds a way to claw its way back into the limelight. Even when you think it's gone, it manages to show you that it's here to stay, and that is why Family Guy is an absolute godsend of a show.